Alright, this one's just for you, Omar. Here's my Hobby King Heiko checkpoint copy, just as good as all the other ones. I turn it all the way up. Lights flashing, you know it's hot. Okay. This is all what I use. It's like 60-40 rosin core, strippers, vice grips, Deans, wire, helping hands. Very hardly ever use them. I'm going to use them right now to hold the phone so I can do this. So here we go. Get this set up so that it's got a good view. Alright. Deans. Wire. Stripper. This is probably the most important part. Strippers make it a little easier. They're not the most important part. Strippers are. Strippers are always good. Okay. Pre-tin your wire. Alright. Wire. Nice hot soldering iron. So what we're going to do is we're going to pre-tin the wire. Now this is going to make your life a lot easier. The furry rodent does his the same exact way, I believe. You want to pre-tin the entire wire all the way around 360 degrees. Make sure I get that on the camera there. And so, let's see, the solder has gone all the way around 360 degrees. It's on the tip. I probably put a little bit extra on there. And let it heat itself up. You'll kind of see the solder suck into the wire when it's getting hot. You might need to get yourself a set of gloves for doing this because the wire is going to get warm holding it. Alright, most people use the sponge that's on the station. I don't really ever use that. It's kind of a pain in the ass. I use a sanding block, little cheap foam sanding block. I take my my tip. It's not the greatest for the tips, but you know you're going to have a nice clean tip when you're done. Clean tip is also just as important as pre-tinning. So if you don't have a clean tip, it's going to be a pain in the ass no matter what you're doing. The other one with the Deans, I use a pair of vice grips. Makes it a little bit easier to hold it and have it sitting on there. So have it sitting in there just like that. Grab the iron. There's already a little bit of solder on here because I took some wires off just so I could do this. But you want to pre-tin your wires. Pre-tin your wire and pre-tin your tabs. So you got a nice little blob. You'll see when it's nice and hot it blobs up. Don't heat up Deans too much. If you heat them up too much, you're going to cook it and you're going to melt the plastic that it goes through. If you do this right, you do it quick, you pre-tin this, you pre-tin that, and what you do is you just, well, normally it's a Dean, so you put a shrink tube on there. You put the two together and just hold that right on the top. And you watch the two, you'll see them start to melt, the top one start to melt, and then it'll make contact, the bottom one will start to melt. When the bottom one starts melting, you know you got contact. You know you have a nice solder bond. It's that easy. It's that quick. It's, yeah, that's it. Pull some shrink tube over the top of it. You're done, man. Some people like to solder their Deans. Hold on, I'm looking for another one here. Plugged in. So you plug one into another one, and that will help it so that the solder doesn't, when you're heating it up, it won't melt. Kind of like this. So when you're soldering one of those or you're soldering one of these, grab the opposite, the male or the female. It's still a little hot. And plug it in and then solder it like that. So that way those tabs don't move. If you do get it a little bit too hot and it starts to melt the plastic a wee bit, it'll kind of hold it in place as long as you don't hold the heat on there for a really excessive amount of time and just melt the plastic completely. So do the other side real quick. I'm going to use the same piece of wire again with my vice grips. Just to grab the plug and hold it steady. And my strippers again. The other thing I kind of do is when you cut the wire, it's kind of pinched. What I do is I roll it in my fingers just to get those wires all nice and round again and mushed together, so that way all the wires not pinched. That way when you go to pre-tin it, it sucks in the solder very nicely. Just about that much, about 1/8 of an inch. Nice hot. Give it a quick clean. Using the sanding pad is not the greatest for your tips, but that's why they make new tips. You can buy new tips. And then we'll do this again real quick so you can see it. And you see when you're getting it on there, the wire just sucks in the solder when it's nice and hot. Get all 360 degrees. Get the end. And then once you have the solder on there, heat it up. And you'll see it suck into the wire. And then I'll do the pre-tin again. Put the two together. Soldering iron right on the top. Top starts melting. You see the bottom start melting. As soon as you see the bottom start melting, you can take off the soldering iron. You should get a nice bond after that. That easy. No melted plugs. Peace.